fantasy short stories. Time Transfusion by Y.Len. Joe in the near future. Blink once for yes, 2 times for no, the doc said. I can do that. That's pretty much all I can do now. Every other muscle in my body has been what's the fancy word? Immobilized. Yes. That's what the doc told me, and even repeated several times. I'm always game to learn a new word and then use it when no one expects me to. Makes me look smart. So here I am, immobilized. And every time she said that word, the doc also added temporarily. As a necessary part of the procedure, she explained. Since we're going to mess with your time, that was how she put it, let's keep your spatial characteristics fixed in the space-time continuum, or something like that. More fancy words. Not that I've been talking too much with my eyelids, but they keep drooping, and then all I see is a semi-transparent corrugated ventilator tube taped to my upper lip, and another tube, bluish in color, that goes into my mouth. Just in case, the doc said. The procedure is new, and if it takes more time than expected, it would be wise to be prepared for feeding. She didn't mention it, but I suspect there must be one more tube that I don't see, just in case I need to go. And I suspect that's where the damn itching comes from. And I can't scratch it. Where is that nurse that keeps asking me how I feel on a scale from 0 to 10? I'd just stare at her, and if she asked if that meant 0, I'd blink once. Damn itch. Think happy thoughts, the doc said. They are recording my thoughts, with my permission, of course, together with my vitals and a whole bunch of other stuff, for the advancement of the procedure, and just in case something goes wrong and they need to... I better not go there. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Easy to say. I scratched. It feels good now. It doesn't itch anymore. Nope. Didn't help. Damn itch. What else? Joe. I need to think about Joe. Where is she now? What is she doing? Did she talk to Bob already? Bob, my fishing buddy and longtime racquetball partner, was the first to rush to the rescue. Take a $5, he said, and let's hope the science will come up with something in time for both of us. I said no. It was the right decision. With his recently diagnosed kidney problems, who knows how much time Bob has left? And his twins, Zoe and Chloe, are only 4 years old. No way am I taking his 5 years. That's what I told Joe, just in case Bob would try to go around me and donate anyway, knowing good old Bob. I prefer old spelled with an apostrophe instead of a D. Easy on the eyes, and rolls, like roll, ole. Better off the tongue. I know. I shouldn't waste time on inconsequential, I like that word too, things like spelling words when I have so little time left. I'd better worry about my will and power of attorney, just in case, as the doc keeps saying. But those are also words, aren't they? And I'm still a living human being, am I not? And this is a free country, and I can damn well kill whatever time I have left any way I want. Damn that itch. Ugh. Where was I? Oh yes, good old Bob. Bob mentioned he'd run into Stan Kowalski. We went to junior high together, but lost contact for 2 decades after his parents divorced and he had to go to another school. Stan's a bigwig now, a hedgehog manager. No, that's not right. Not a hog. A hedge fund manager. He told Bob he'd love to pitch in, but all his time had been frozen because of the high-profile insider trading investigation at his company. Bob also made a joke. Something about Martha Stewart. I didn't get it, but I laughed with him anyway. Now, as I think about Stan and his frozen time, it all makes sense to me. Who knows how that investigation will go? Stan may have to do some time. Then who knows how much would be left to give away? Then Gary came, my little brother, offered 6 months and shed a tear, apparently moved by his generosity. Ruth, his girlfriend, looked like a wounded she-wolf. Those thrown-away months, though not even hers, cramped her stomach so badly the ripples reached her face. But she also brought some good news from the office where we both work. Well, she does. I used to work there until I ran out of time. Anyway, everyone chipped in a day. 43 coworkers, 43 days. No one forgot the wallet. Thank you, peer pressure. And thank you, guys and gals, too. Uncle Quincy from Australia plunked down a whole year. You need it more, his text said. I tried to call to thank him, but he never answered his phone. He's 97, has never been married, and lives in a home. Thanks heaps, mate. Even after the 28% customs duty, his was the single biggest donation I got. The rest was just peanuts, so to speak. I don't like peanuts. I prefer almonds, roasted. Slow roasted. I used to buy them raw, a big bag from Costco, and roast them myself. The whole house smelled of roasted almonds, and the whole family knew what we were going to snack on in the evening watching The Voice. Now I wish I'd done it more often, and not just when I had spare time on my hands. Where was I? Oh yeah, peanuts. Red Cross donated 3 days flat. I also got 12 hours, 43 minutes from the Salvation Army for volunteering at the soup kitchen, plus 9 hours and 2 minutes from my personal Time is Money box, where I used to deposit 10 or 15 minutes every time I came to an appointment early because traffic turned out to be lighter than I'd expected. Joe cried whenever we tallied the donated time or talked about the procedure. This time transfusion thing is still at the experimental stage, and the rejection rate, statistically speaking, is high. I laughed and kept telling her that lies, damned lies and statistics joke. But honestly, I was worried too. I still am. Time doesn't have a type, like, for example, blood does. It can't be tested beforehand, and a single incompatible minute, even a second, may abort the transfusion process. And who knows where the time donated by the Red Cross and Salvation Army came from? And why doesn't Uncle Quincy answer the phone? Take mine, Joe kept saying. It ought to be compatible since we've spent so much time together and we are still together, so it must have been good for both of us. I couldn't agree more with everything Joe said, but I wouldn't take even a minute from her. I gave her the past performance is no guarantee of future results argument, and if it goes wrong, you won't get your time back argument. But we both knew that two key arguments were, and still are, and always will be, Samantha and Tommy. Sam's only 5 and has asthma, and Tommy keeps getting D's in algebra. 18 months doesn't seem like a lot, but it's better than nothing. I will take Sam to her first day of school, help Tommy with math. I'll fix the porch, which I've been planning to do for so many years. I'll buy Jo a bunch of those stargazer lilies, for no other reason that she admires them. And we'll get a dog, a German shepherd. They all kept asking, but I wouldn't agree because of the slobber and hair in the house. Now I think I've been a fool about and not only that. Finally, a nurse wheels in an IV stand with a matte black metal sphere inside of a wobbly plastic bag that normally hangs from a double-hooked pole. It's about time. The nurse asks if I'm ready, and I blink once. The damn itch will have to wait. The sphere looks impressive with a large, roundish dial on its side, 2 digital readout gauges, and a red and yellow "Danger! High Pressure" sign. The clock on the sphere says 12:32 p.m. Time flies. Like an arrow, they say, not like a banana. I don't get that banana thing, but I do get the arrow part. Time really flies. It's not a cliché. Since Einstein, everybody knows that time defies gravity. Or was it this... what's his name? Another guy. With a beard and John Lennon glasses. Yeah, I think it must have been the other guy. All Einstein did was m times c squared. I remember that from high school. But times in Einstein's equation really has nothing to do with time I'm talking about. Anyway, time flies, and that, the doc said, may complicate the procedure. Even when liquefied, time wouldn't drip like any other liquid. It has to be pushed under pressure instead. The higher the pressure, the more time could be infused per unit of time. Like hours per second, or days per minute, or even months or years per whatever. That's a bit confusing. At first, it didn't make sense to me. I needed time to think about this time thing. But it makes sense now, I think. Like pumping air into a tire. It only takes a minute or two, and then you can drive on those tires for months or even years. I know. It's not a perfect simile or metaphor or whatever the fancy word is. The liquefied time transfusion procedure pumps time instead of air, and it requires anesthesia. But neither time nor air would drip, and both need pressure, but air in general doesn't require anesthesia. General anesthesia. Jo, about 4 hours earlier. It's about time! A poster cramped with all capitals yells at me from the office wall. Above it, a more austere black font on a clean white background reads, Avery S. Eckent Memorial Hospital. We're just in time. Now, always. The clock on the wall shows 8:13 a.m. A deep breath does little to calm my racing heart. The red-headed clerk keeps talking. It's a once-in-a-lifetime benefit, ma'am. He lifts his smiling face from the computer screen and in a low, well-trained voice confirms what I already know. And yes, your insurance does cover the cost of all necessary equipment, so it's only a matter of time. Do you have any more questions? I shake my head. The clock advances to 8:14 a.m. Very good, then. The redhead springs to his feet. I prepared all the paperwork in advance, ahead of time, so to speak. Slinking around the desk, he spreads papers in front of me. Please initial here, here, and one more time here. Excellent. Now date and sign at the bottom. What was that? Yes, ma'am, today's the 11th. Perfect. That's all for the donor's part. I'll get the recipient's signature, and actually, I'll do that too. Here's the power of attorney. I pluck out of the beige manila folder a sheet of crisp linen paper with a square stamp at the bottom. Joe's signature looks crooked, but who cares when time is of the essence, right? I slide the sheet across the desk and proceed to scribble my signature over the remaining document. Prickly heat of embarrassment creeps from my neck up to my ears as I keep signing my name in place of his. Joe left me no choice. Wouldn't listen to me. Just kept pontificating about his 18 months, 9 days, 6 hours, and 22 minutes. Okay, and then what? What would I, all three of us, do then? Done. I get up and stride into the next room. It has no windows and smells like chlorine bleach. A contraption in the middle resembles a hybrid of a gas pump and a dental chair stuffed together into an oversized telephone booth. Let's do this. No time to waste. I want my husband to receive the transfusion this afternoon. Take a half. Yes, ma'am. To a minute. The technician gives me a long look as his boyish face grows solemn. Piece of cake. All it takes is the right pressure. Ever been pressed for time? He smirks, turns the dial, and taps the gauge on the matte black metal sphere. Right here, see? It says equilibrium. We'll keep filling till it stops flowing. That'll be the equilibrium between what's left for the donor and what we have pumped into the sphere. I nod. We'll have to immobilize you, ma'am, temporarily. That's part of the procedure. You'll blink once for yes, 2 times for no. The chair is warm and soft. My head gets heavy. My thoughts slow down to a crawl. Some words are missing. Happily ever after. On the same day. Are you ready, ma'am? I blink once. Y.Len's spoken English is barbed with a foreign accent, and writing needs a second look due to often missing, misplaced articles and imposter words from several other languages. In 2020, Y.Len received an honorable mention from the Writers of the Future contest, and in 2021 saw the first story published on paper in the Wight Christmas, Holiday Horror and Seasonal Subversion collection. In 2022, another short story appeared in The Bull magazine. 5 more short stories appeared in the Some Things Are Universal, Trigger Warning, Cursed and From the Yonder, Volumes 4 anthologies, as well as the Readers Beware and 2228 magazines in 2023. Hey guys, I hope you liked that story. I loved the underlying concept of this story. Not just the part about being able to donate time to other people, but the question of, would you accept it? Would you give it? I mean, I can count on one hand with fingers remaining the number of people I would be willing to donate time to. And yet, I spend 40-plus hours a week at a job that I don't really like, you know? So it really brings forth a lot of questions. I felt that this story was really elegantly put together and just brings out some concepts that are so thought-provoking and layered. As somebody who was told from a young age that I'm going to die early because I'm a type 1 diabetic, I've always had this kind of rebellious nature when it comes to my time. I don't want to die early. I want to live for hundreds of years. I follow all the longevity forums. I listen to all the talks about the research being done. And maybe it's just because I've been told that I've got a ticking clock since I was young that this story hit me so hard. But it really did touch me. And I hope you guys got something from it as well. Because, yeah, I loved this story. Anyway, if you guys liked this one, be sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment if you're on YouTube. Or if you're listening to the podcast, just be sure to subscribe for more brand new short stories. I'm Chris Herron, and that's it for today's Tall Tale TV.